Good morning, boys and girls. Last week, I reminded you about all of the friends in our reader, and you read the book, The Fun Run. And before that, we had read the 3 stories in Meet the Friends, but I just reminded you of their names. So we had Jip the cat, Ben the dog, and so on. Now, we're going to start new readers this week, and the reader is called the Oxford Reading Tree. So all of these stories, it has one animal in, but I'm going to introduce you to the characters in all of the books, and then it's about a family who live in London, so that's in England, and about the adventures that mainly the children have. So these are the characters. Everything happens in their house or at their school, and they have different adventures. So this is Dad and Mum. So just like in your Kathy and Mark book story, later on in the week, you will see that Kathy calls her mother, Mother, and it has a capital letter. So when you see these characters in your reader, Dad doesn't have a name, so they just refer to him as Dad, and that's why it's written with a capital. And then Mum, they don't say Mother or Mom, they call her Mum. So those are the first characters in the family. And I don't have a picture of her because there are not too many stories about her, but they have a gran. And she's a naughty granny. She gets up to all kinds of things, but I think there's only 1 or 2 stories about Gran that we'll come to. So I'm just introducing you to Dad and Mum. Right, so those are the first 2. And then I'm going to rub this out. They have twins. Right? And the twins' names are, the girl is Biff, that's her name, and the boy is Chip. Now, let's just speak about this. These are twins. That means that the mother, the mum, when she had these babies, they were born at the same time. But now you get 2 sets of twins. So if the babies were born and they were both boys or they were both girls and they looked nearly exactly the same. But remember that every single person, and there are billions and billions and trillions of people in the world, and every single one is different. How wonderful is that, that we have been created by God differently, that we are all special because we are like nobody else. But if a mommy has 2 babies at the same time and they are boys and they look the same, nearly the same, then we call them identical twins, or two girls that look the same. Now, I have twins. I think some of you know that. And I have twin boys. Their names are Joshua, and Paul. But they're not identical. They don't look alike, so they're non-identical twins. But when a mommy has twins and there is a boy baby and a girl baby, we call these twins a pigeon pair. Isn't that interesting? I don't know where that name came from. Maybe I'll find out and tell you. But the twins in the story are called Chip is the boy and Biff is the girl. So they are twins, but they are a pigeon pair because they don't look the same. They're boys and girls. Right, so we've met Mum and Dad and Chip and Biff. And then there's a younger brother, and he gets up to all kinds of things. The story today that we're going to read, or this week that you're going to read, is about him. So he's the little brother, and here he is holding his teddy, and his name is Kipper. So the children's names again, Chip and Biff are the twins, and Kipper is their younger brother. So the family has 3 children. And I'm not sure if you know, but Kipper is a kind of fish. It's an orange, bright orange fish, and people normally have it for breakfast. So you'll have bacon and eggs and maybe kippers, or kippers and eggs. Right, and it's a very famous English dish, and I told you that these children or not only these children, this family live in London in England. So I'm not sure why they called their little boy after a fish, but maybe they didn't think about it and they just liked his name, Kipper. Right, so that's Kipper. And then they have a dog. Oh, and this dog gets up to all kinds of things. Like in Kathy and Mark, their dog's name is Socks. His name is Floppy. Right, so, and there he's got a disc around his neck with his name on it, Floppy, in case he runs away, and then people can know that that's his name or take him to the vet and see who he belongs to. Floppy, maybe because he's got floppy ears, because maybe his fur flops about when he runs all over the place. Right, so those are the characters of the family in the books we're going to start reading, the Oxford Reading Tree. And the first book we're going to read is called The Toys Party, and there we have Kipper on the front and Floppy. Oh, and look, his tongue's out, licking his lips. Let's see what we get up to. So enjoy reading your new book, and then next week you'll remember the characters as we go along, as they have different adventures in all of the Oxford Reading Tree books.